What's up, brother? So, today I want to talk to you about how you're going to come back from rock bottom and how rock bottom is actually good. Rock bottom is the thing that you want to happen to you, okay? I will just quickly tell you what happened to me, how I hit rock bottom, and how I overcame it, okay? So, first thing that happened, bro, was my 4-year relationship ended, okay? And the problem was that it took me a year. It took me 12 months to actually completely move on because it was my first relationship. I did not know how to act. I did not know how to deal with it. I did not know how to deal with my emotions. I did not know how to let go. And it completely destroyed me, right? It destroyed me completely, okay? For like nine months at least, I was like completely like I would like replay the scenarios. I would dream about it. I would tell myself some negative stories, and it was just bad, bro. And then the second thing was that I hated myself, okay? Now you gotta understand something about me, bro. I just always dealt with, looking young. Now, and I'm gonna tell you something, I always dealt with looking young. I always dealt with being short. I always dealt, with like not being special, being left on the side, and it just piled up, I hated like what I had become, basically. I hated the shell that I was in. For some reason, the devil had planted a seed in my head that made me hate who I was. The devil had planted like a seed, and that seed grew over and over again as I kept hating myself even more, right? The seed of like self-hatred grew every single day that I dropped into like this fucking black pill, started to like tell myself like, oh, you'll never find success because you're this, you're that, you'll never be attractive, you'll never get a girl, all these stuff. And I started like repeating these scenarios to myself. And then afterwards, the third thing was that I was really alone at this time. I was not talking to anybody. I was not seeing anybody. All I was doing was staying by myself with these feelings. And it piled up, everything piled up. And also the stress of my future. I did not know what I wanted to do with my future. I was extremely stressed. And I was alone. And I was going through it. And I did not understand anything, And then after a while, it piled up so much that I stopped sleeping. I had anxiety that made me stop sleeping. I literally could not sleep at night. I would try and sleep, and I would just wake up in the middle of the night and I could not sleep. And then I would wake up in the morning with like 2 hours of sleep, extremely stressed. And now, the more you're stressed, the less you sleep. And then the less you sleep, the more you're stressed. So I was dealing with anxiety, and I was like, what the fuck? And I was like shaking and panicking. And for 6 days straight, I just could not sleep. I could not sleep. And I was actually like, I remember, bro, I was driving. The only thing I did was go to the gym. But I was driving to the gym. I would not go out if it wasn't to go to the gym. And I was eating fast food too, because I didn't even want to meal prep at the time, because I was so depressed. I was like, what's the point? What's the point of even chasing my dream physique? My life sucks, right? She left me. I can't get no girls. I fucking hate myself. I'm gonna be average. So I was like, fuck just eating healthy. I ate McDonald's every day, and I started becoming unhealthy, bro. Like, even my room was a mess. Everything was fucking like atrocious, bro. And like even the fact that my room was a mess messed me up, because my room was clean, and then when I saw my room being a mess, I was like, fuck, I'm such a piece of shit. But I couldn't even get it myself to clean it. And then I couldn't sleep, right? And bro, it got so bad that like I got this anxiety, right? Because all I was doing was go to the gym and go back home, and then just like stay on social media watching these negative videos. And literally I was going through it every single day. And then one day it got so bad that like, I was literally stressed out of my mind, right? I was like shaking. I was like, bro, like, what am I gonna do? And I was driving my car. I remember like it was yesterday. I was driving my car on the highway, and I was like, fuck all this pain. If a car like crashes into me, I'd be fucking happy. If a car crashes into me, I'd be happy, because I didn't have to kill myself, but I would be dead. I wouldn't have to deal with that bullshit, right? That bullshit life that I have. And then after the 6 days of not sleeping, it was just too much. I remember like it was too much, right? So I was like, I gotta do something. So I went up into my mom's room, and I sat on her bed. And I never do that, right? I never ever do that. My mom never sees me in these states. And I just started to cry. Poured everything out. I just started to cry for like 30 minutes. I didn't say a word. I was just crying. And she was like, she was also like crying, because she's like, what's wrong? And she's like, talk to me. And I wouldn't talk. I was just like, no, I was just like, I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling good. I'm not feeling good. Over and over again, I would repeat that, and she'd be like, son, please tell me what's going on. And I was like, Mom, I'm not feeling good. And I would repeat it over. And my mom never sees me cry. That's something I don't want. I don't want people that I'm supposed to take care of see me cry. But that day it was just too much. I hit rock bottom. I could not sleep. I didn't have anything, right? I didn't have any money in my bank account. I didn't have any friends. I didn't have any girl. I didn't have anything. So all I could do, I had nothing to lose. I needed help. I literally needed that help. I needed somebody to help me. And I could not ask anybody else but my mom. Because my mom is the only person that wants me to win more than she wants to win. So I cried and I cried. And then afterwards, I started talking a little bit. I told her everything, right? And you know, if you're like me, there's a little barrier between your mom and what you want to tell her, right? But that day I was like, fuck it. Literally, I don't care about anything. And I started to tell her everything. My ex, she knew my ex. I was like, bro, like, what the fuck, man? Like, what? Like, how is this possible? We were together for 4 years. She was like, no, it's okay. And I told her about my insecurities, and she was like, bro. And she was like, no, what are you saying? And I was like, fuck, it sucks. Because, you know, the thing that made me really pissed off about, like, just my height, one of the things was my height, is because I was basically supposed to be tall, bro. Like, I'm not like 5'2" or something. I'm 5'8". I'm like 5'9", basically, right? I'm just in between 5'8" and 5'9". And like, the thing is that because I couldn't sleep, I ended up being that height, because my two brothers, they sleep like babies and they're 6'2". So, you know, that really made me like be like, fuck my life. Literally, like, fuck my life. This sleep thing actually ruined my life. You know what I mean? Because I would have been 6'2". And then my mom was like, no. And then she told me something, okay? Because I'm going to tell you something. My mom been through a lot, okay? Just not to go into too much details. Before I was born, she got into a car crash. And that car crash left her in a coma for 6 weeks, okay? After that, she was paralyzed for like 6 months. She was in a wheelchair. And the doctors told her she'd never get a kid, right? And the thing is that she came here to study because she was actually going to work at ONU. I don't know how you say that. UNESCO. In English, right? UNESCO, I don't know what it is, right? But one of these big companies. Every one of her friends that graduated from the same school as her got into these big ass companies, and they're like directors, and they're fucking rich right now. And because of the accident, she couldn't do that. And you know, my dad, she raised us, and because also of the accident, she couldn't work, right? She couldn't work, she couldn't drive, so she raised me and my two little brothers with no car, with no income. Like, we lived off the insurance for the first 14 years of my life. My dad was never here, and he left her when I was 11, okay? And you know, she never complained, right? It was tough growing up, bro. I'll do another video on that, but it was tough. And she never complained. She never like showed us any sign of weakness. She never was like, you know, never. And she told me, you know what helps me be in that state of always being okay no matter what happens? Because she told me I've been through a lot too. And you know, you want to know something? And she told me a phrase from the Quran. She said, God doesn't burden a soul with more than what it can bear, okay? And you know, I instantly stopped crying. I remember she told me this, I was like, everything stopped. And for 1 second I realized, bro, it's so true. Our problems, bro, there are for us for a reason. We can bear them, right? God doesn't put something on you more than you can bear. And the proof is that everything that you ever been through, you overcame it. You overcame it, not at the moment that you thought you would, not the way that you thought you would, but you overcame it. There is nothing that is put on you that you can overcome, and most of the time it's just to teach you something. It's to teach you a lesson. You will never have something too much for you. Everything that you're going through, you might feel like it's peak of the depression. You might feel like it's peak of your life ending, but it's not. It's really not. It's just that you have to go through this right now to understand a few things about yourself. You have to go through this because it's through pain that we grow, to struggles that we grow. I grew the most to that struggle, to these months where I was fucking wanting to kill myself. That's when I grew the most, because that's when I really realized that who I needed to become, what I needed not to be, the way I needed not to think to be successful, right? Because I promise you, bro, after she told me that, everything changed. I realized that all my problems were so small. All my problems were all in my head, right? Because that's the thing. All our problems are in our head, right? Life might not be perfect. We might not have everything we wish we did. But truthfully, if we're grateful for what we have, you'll just realize that you're blessed. You could have been born blind. You could have been born like with 2 legs off or just with no face. But yet, we want to complain about things like that. And we want to focus on the negative in our life, right? Even things that happen to us, right? You got into a car crash, you want to complain. You're alive. You're alive. And that's the thing, bro. Rock bottom is here to teach you something, that you can overcome it. Once I hit that day when she told me this, since that day, my life completely changed. I was never in that state ever again. And I started actually pushing my life to the better, because when I hit rock bottom, I realized I had nothing left to lose. I already hit rock bottom. It was time for me to just level up and go about my life. And I started taking action like somebody that has nothing to lose. Because I already hit rock bottom. I already know what it's like to be at the bottom. So it's like nothing can actually hurt me that bad anymore. So I started moving differently. And it changed my life. So that's why it's good for you to have rock bottom. Because once you overcome that moment where you're actually super depressed, once you overcome that moment, I'm telling you, you'll be a new you. It's like you're a butterfly. You know the butterfly when they come out the cocoon, right? That's what it is. But you have to go through this pain right now so that you can come out the cocoon and become the G that you need to become. So if you're going through it, brother, let it happen. Your comeback is going to be even greater, and your story is going to be even greater, right? Since that day, bro, I started posting on social media. I dropped out of school. I just started focusing on myself, my mental, my physical, my social, everything. And my life completely changed. I'm no longer depressed, right? I'm no longer depressed. I got literally, I'm getting close to having everything that I ever wanted, everything I could ever dream of. And it's like, it's so crazy, bro, because this summer I was really gonna give up. I had no hope. And that's the only thing you need, bro, when you're at rock bottom. You just need hope. You just need hope that things are gonna get better. Keep hope. Keep hope inside of you. Whenever you want to give up, keep hope inside of you. And one day maybe you can become hope for other people. But for now, keep hope inside of you. Show yourself that there is a reality where you become successful, where you become happy, when you become the guy that you want to become, when you become the guy of your dream. Because there is. You just need hope. You just need to believe there is a reality, bro. Because I promise you there is. You just got to realize that it is true, that you can become the best version of yourself, and that you deserve to be happy, that you deserve your spot here. Like everybody deserves a spot here. You just need hope. It's something you got to keep very close to you in the dark days. Just a small glimpse of hope. And if I can be that little glimpse of hope right now for you today, I want to fucking be that, bro. Because I didn't have no hope. But let me tell you, bro, I was fucking hating myself. I wanted to give up. I thought that there was nothing good with me. The whole time there were a lot of things good with me. I got tons of messages these days of people telling me that I helped them. But see, I wouldn't, and if you would have told me this when I was going through it, I would have not believed you. I would have not. That's what I'm telling you, bro. There's a world where you become that guy, bro. There's actually a world where you become that guy. I really believe it, man. So, you know, I just wanted to talk about that, bro. Because, you know, bro, I was really like at rock bottom. Like, I can't stress this enough, bro. I wish I would took more pictures. I was literally like hopeless. But I always had that glimpse of hope since my mom told me that phrase, that God doesn't put something more than you can bear on your shoulders. He doesn't put a weight heavier than you can bear on your shoulders. Since that day, bro, hope is something I keep very close to me. Whenever something happens, I'm always have hope that things are gonna get better, because they will. And I want to be the living proof of that. Okay, brother, I'll see you around. Okay, I really appreciate you. It's all love.